Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here, and to the Atlantic for putting this together. We at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are grateful for your partnership in raising awareness about critical issues in U.S. education today. And in the agenda today, you saw a breadth and depth of issues, which is super important, but more important is that you find value in this, and that you find value in the public dialogue, which we know is important in solving some of our big issues in education. When it comes to education in the U.S., our vision at the Foundation is pretty simple: to dramatically increase success for our students pre-K through college, and to close success gaps when it comes to race and income. Achieving that vision is essential if we as a nation are going to improve social mobility and have a competitive economy. In K-12, you may have heard we are restructuring the way we're looking at the work, and we've learned a lot from the field, including that excellent schools, led by leaders who focus on continuous improvement, grounded in data and evidence, are key to helping students succeed. Our next chapter in investments will be driven by a direct focus on schools. But that's where the action of teaching and learning happens, and that's why it's so important. Specifically, we'll be investing in the networks of schools interested in solving common problems, using evidence-based interventions and continuous learning to improve outcomes for Blacks, Latinos, and low-income students. We will also continue to support the field by generating knowledge, tools, and practices that can help improve outcomes for all students. This includes investments in developing curriculum aligned with standards to ensure that middle and high school teachers will have access to high-quality materials in English, math, science, as well as building evidence on social and emotional learning. In higher education, we believe that the future is very much about value and values. Listening backstage to the conversation, I was struck about the many issues that we're facing, particularly with today's college students, which we know is a very increasingly diverse and non-just your 18-year-old student coming to college. So we are at a critical inflection point here, particularly in higher education. We know the value of higher education, but there's a lot of frustration out there, particularly with accessibility and cost, which I know a lot of conversation has happened here. For us, the critical values of those are opportunity and inclusion, which is very important and part of the dialogue I know here today. As an economy and a society, we simply cannot advance unless more Americans, especially those most at risk of missing out, can access and succeed in education after high school. This is especially true for low-income and first-generation students, students of color, and working adults. And achieving that goal means focusing on innovation, rethinking who we serve, how we serve, and with a focus on things like strengthening online learning, redesigning remedial education, and improving student advising. It also demands a new definition of good, one that prizes mobility over exclusivity. That is why we are especially focused on partnering with the colleges and universities that are serving the vast majority of today's college students. That is our focus and what we believe must be the focus of higher education as a sector. I look forward to a rich discussion continuing today, and thank you very much for your participation.